Hey y'all, welcome to the 1 Minute. Today's Bible reading is Titus and Philemon, the short book of Titus, which is the last pastoral epistle, and the book of Philemon. Titus, even though it is Paul's writing, and of course yesterday I told you as we were finishing up 2 Timothy, I told you that those were the last recorded words of Paul, etc., and how Paul chose that those words would be written to Timothy and all of that. If you missed the 1 minute yesterday, just go back and look at that. But Titus was written, I know it's placement in the Bible here, but Titus was written, as was Philemon. Titus was written before that of 2 Timothy. In fact, Titus was written in between Paul's 2 Roman imprisonments, and of course you know that second one is the one that he wound up dying from, that we mentioned on yesterday's 2 Timothy devotion. All of that said, Titus was another. We know Timothy gets the props, right, for being Paul's pastor, disciple, his son in the faith, etc. But as I told you when we went over 1 Timothy, that Paul poured his life into several men. And certainly amongst Titus and Philemon, you can know that Titus was one of the men that Paul had trained, as was Onesimus, which is who he is speaking to in that who he is speaking about much in the book of Philemon. By the way, Philemon, a very short book in your New Testament. Philemon is my favorite book in all of the Bible. So much so that my youngest daughter, her middle name is Aphia, which in the passage is Philemon's wife's name. By the way, the name means princess, and she is my last daughter. She is my little princess. But nonetheless, I love Philemon. And you're saying, man, Philemon? Oh, y'all, I dig Philemon so much, and you will too. In fact, on the second page of our Devo today, it's just half a page there, but that whole half a page is dedicated. In fact, now the beginning of the first page, or the bottom of the first page, begins our talk about Philemon. But that second page, check out those bullets, and you'll find just one of the reasons, maybe 3 of the reasons, why Philemon is, again, one of my favorite books. I'd say my favorite book in all of the Bible. And yet, hey man, I love this book, right? So I love all of the Bible. But Philemon is cool, and maybe me mentioning that will make you slow down. Take that in consideration, and maybe Philemon will minister to you like it has me in the past. I want to spend the balance of my time here going over this, reminding you now tomorrow will be Sunday. Tomorrow will be our weekend edition, so make sure you tap into that. But I want to spend my time here finishing this with the simplicity of Titus chapter 3. Having come through the book of Titus, words that are preserved for us, no doubt written to him and applicable in that day, but man, how he's talking about how salvation is by grace and not works. If you've ever had that conversation with somebody and you're struggling with getting them to see that it's not of works, that we know Ephesians says that, right? But man, take Titus there and check out, if you will, Titus 3, 1 through 7. Just wonderful, speaking about how salvation is by grace, not works. But, my saved by grace friend, you were not saved, nor was I, by works, but we were saved unto good works, for good works. Now, Ephesians 2, 8, and 9 is where it says we're saved by grace through faith, right? And then if you'll notice, verse 10 talks about how we are his workmanship. Well, very similar here in the book of Titus here. You go through chapter 3, 1 through 7, and it talks about how we're saved by grace and not of works. But this is what he says, and I'm going to finish it. Verse 8. This is a faithful saying. He's saying to this person he's training, Titus, this is a faithful saying, and these things I will that thou affirm constantly. Well, what is this faithful saying that you want me to constantly be affirming? That they which have believed in God might be careful for what? To maintain good works. These things are good and profitable unto men. And then if you'll read the next 3 verses, he talks about some things that'll stand in your way of good works. Hey man, what are you working good about today?